Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to me, my Passion, YouTube's premium channel about all things women's football. And at the time of recording, this is breaking news. The Spain national women's team has officially gone on strike. Yes, you heard that correctly. The newly minted women's champions of the world have gone on strike on the back of those very disgusting quote unquote celebrations by the current RFEF president, Luis Rubiales. And because of that, the team has taken a stand and have vowed to not represent the national team until Rubiales and all of his cohorts have been taken away from the RFEF, essentially until they've stepped down, resigned, or have been kicked out. And this is a huge story that is breaking out here. Of course, Spain are coming off the back of winning the Women's World Cup just a few days ago. Pretty much at this time, it's just 5 days since they last won the Women's World Cup, and that is incredible. In my last video about what you learned about Spain's victory, I did outline that it would be interesting to see the fallout from Spain's victory and what would it mean for the federation. And yeah, this happened much quicker than even I would have anticipated, and that is saying something. That is insane. What's happened here. So I'll just give you a basic rundown of the events that have transpired over the last few days and why it's led to this boiling point between the players and the president of the Spanish Women's Federation. Now, the issue between the federation and the players definitely goes back a long time ago. I've even highlighted in the video here, which I'll just share in the link there. I know it's a cheap plug, but it'll provide some context here, where basically the players were not happy with the coach Jorge Vilda because of his coaching style. They complained that they would pretty much be spent on an emotional and physical level, and even some of his off the pitch and off the training antics, they weren't really appreciated by the players. For example, at some point up until 2019, whenever the women were on international duty, Vilda not allowed them to lock their doors until he had come in to check on them. And from one perspective, you can understand like maybe it's trying to build a camaraderie between the coach and the players on an individual level, but at the same time, privacy and security is something that should come first, especially when it comes to the comfortability of your players. And the players were not comfortable with that. So that's just one example of the issues that they've had with Vilda. And of course, now on the back of Spain winning the Women's World Cup, they pretty much have all the cards in their hand here because they are being watched by the collective footballing world on the back of their success. And again, with the issues that have transpired here, I see nothing else other than the women getting the victory here, which is very deserved because this situation pretty much kicked off on the back of the celebrations of winning the World Cup, where, as you can see in your screen right now, there is Luis Rubiales celebrating with all these players, but particularly with Jenny Hermoso here, where he pretty much sexually assaulted her, in my opinion here, because he pretty much has her head in a vice grip, like the great Kali or something, and he's just forcing himself onto her here. And that, even though it may have lasted a few seconds, is really uncomfortable. When I was watching the match live, these celebrations live, I didn't see this particular celebration with Hermoso, but I did notice that with the other players, he was just really hugging them very tightly, almost aggressively, and I thought that was a little bit suspicious because it just didn't look right. And now, on the back of Hermoso coming out and explaining her side of the story, it definitely does seem that it was not a comfortable situation for these players, especially for Hermoso. And for Hermoso herself, she's come out and said that she didn't enjoy it at all. And yeah, it's a pretty ugly situation here because on the back of that, Rubiales and Vilda, they tried to get Hermoso to support Rubiales by saying, oh no, it was consensual and whatnot, there's no issue with it, it's just celebration between workmates. But that she was having none of that, and rightfully so. She's uncomfortable in that situation. She has to feel comfortable enough to say to the public media and to her teammates that no, I was not comfortable. She doesn't need to be intimidated to say, oh, save this or else. There's no need for that. I am incredibly encouraged and I'm in full support of Hermoso coming out and stating the true intentions and the true facts on the ground, that she was not comfortable, she was not consenting to this, and full credit to her, and of course full credit to the rest of her teammates for backing her up in the strike here. So, on the back of that initial situation that happened there was an extraordinary meeting that was held by the RFEF to discuss this situation and the controversies behind it. And Rubiales himself obviously was there to defend himself pretty much. And this is what he had to say in this video here.
¿Es tan grave como para que yo me vaya habiendo hecho la mejor gestión de la historia del fútbol español? ¿Ustedes creen que tengo que dimitir? Pues les voy a decir algo. No voy a dimitir. No voy a dimitir. No voy a dimitir. No voy a dimitir. No voy a dimitir.
Now, as you can see, our man Rubiales pretty much pulled a Leonardo DiCaprio Wolf of Wall Street move here by pretty much saying that he was not effing leaving. I don't know if I can see on YouTube, but it's unnecessary. This is a football channel, family friendly and all that, so no need for it. But pretty much, he decided to become the Wolf of Wall Street, and it really is cringe to see some of the people clapping there for him. Obviously, they're just Rubiales drones, so you can understand, but it is shameful for them to be clapping. But that was something that transpired earlier today. And just a few minutes ago, there was a joint statement released by FootPro that was made by Jenny Hermoso, and it was co-signed by some previous players who represented the Spanish women's national team, and of course the World Cup winners themselves. And here are some excerpts from that statement, which have been sourced from the wonderful Alex Ibaceta. I hope I have read that correctly. Who I will link their Twitter profile, their X profile, so that you can get the full rundown of the story here. Now, the statement is as reads, quote, "After the perplexity of the speech delivered by the president of the RFEF, Mr. Rubiales, the players of the senior team, recent world champions, in support of Jennifer Hermoso, want to express their firm condemnation of behaviors that have violated the dignity of women. I want to clarify, as seen in the images, at no time did I consent to the kiss that he gave me, and of course, in no case did I lift the president. I do not tolerate my word being questioned, and much less than they invent words I never said. We want to end the statement by asking for real changes, both sporting and structural, that help the national team to continue growing in order to continue this great success to later generations. It fills us with sadness that such an unacceptable event is managing to tarnish the greatest sporting success of Spanish women's football. After everything that happened during the World Cup award ceremony, we want to state that every player that has signed this statement will now go back to the national team under the current leaders." So that is the breaking news here. This is pretty insane, but at the same time, it is justified as well. I myself personally, based on the information that I have from the previous issues that the women have had with the federation, and the current issues that they're having with them now on the back of Rubiales' actions, I am in full support of the entire team here who have co-signed on this statement. I'm in support of Hermoso herself, who was unfortunately at the end of this incident. And I really hope that FIFA, in spite of their incompetencies and their ineptitude, as well as the RFEF, do the only thing that they can do, which is to let go of Rubiales and his subordinates and Jorge Vilda, because there is absolutely no justification that you can give or bring to the table as to why they should stay. So hopefully tomorrow there will be some progress made on this, but this is insane. So hopefully we get some progress there. Again, I'm in support of these players. I do think that Rubiales and everyone else who has caused untold misery to these women should be let go, whether they like it or not, because ultimately these men are not the ones who are playing football. Regardless that they're not women, they're not the ones playing football at all. It is these women who are playing football, and even on the men's side is the men that are playing football, and it is player welfare that must come first in these situations, because when these people who are working in offices all day get credit, it's on the backs of the performances of the players on the pitch, so the players need to come first no matter what. So hopefully the players do get what they want in order to allow themselves to move forward in a very healthy and productive manner. And I'll just leave the full statement here on your screen so you can pause and read it. This is obviously the Spanish version, but I'm going to do my best to just Google Translate this quickly, and I'll just stick it in the description of the video so you can read if you don't understand Spanish. But if I can't, I do apologize. No promises there. But other than that, yeah, that's the video. Yeah, just thought I would pop on here and just provide a quick update rather than let the story just simmer down and whatnot, because I think it would be really wrong given the whole MO of this channel is to talk about women's football. So yeah, it is a very crazy situation, but as the story does advance and develop, I will definitely pop on here and provide those updates where needed, because I was in the middle of just trying to rebrand this channel since the Women's World Cup is done, to just make it more generalized for what I'm going for, and this news just broke. So yeah, very intense times for the world champions, but I'll always keep you updated on everything that goes down. But other than that, make sure you have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, a good evening, and I'll see you in the next video.